I love that you guys are already pissed off about the headline. The stream hasn't even started yet, and you guys are so angry in chat already. I haven't even said anything yet. I haven't even talked about it, and they're just getting all riled up. IGN sent them to lie to us. The same IGN that gave Star Wars a 7 and Concord a 7. Get them. Y'all are hilarious sometimes. Grr. No, I thought conspiracies was the right word because there's a lot of back and forth going on Twitter right now. And I found it funny. So I just kind of wanted to talk about everything that we've seen so far, because originally, if you remember, the conspiracy that I was going to discuss was the fact that Xbox hardware was the reason that Black Myth Wukong had not released on the Xbox series of consoles or anything. And it turns out, surprise, Xbox is saying that's not true. So the conspiracy was the original news, not what we believe to be somebody at Xbox. I watched what's his name? Kyle Bossman talk about it. He's like, so basically somebody at Xbox is seeing these rumors pop up on Twitter, and they're like, we need to send out emails and refute these claims that like 4 people have seen, so that more people will talk about the will they, won't they. Clearly we have to blame the Xbox Series S. That is absolutely true. Yeah, Concord is in big trouble. Obviously, we're going to get to that. There are a bunch of games that are coming from Square Enix over to Xbox. That has been proven to be true. And I haven't released a video in a few days. I have had a big project that I've been working on. It's not embargoed or anything. Let me see. Oh, I don't. Uh-oh. Well, I hope I saved it because Premiere closed. And I'm going to have a panic attack if I just lost all my progress. But I'm doing best settings for Black Myth, and I'm doing a template for it. And I painstakingly went through to test the various settings to see how it would impact the game. And yeah, you know what? Just real quick, I don't know if this is going to mess anything up, but I am going to open up Adobe Premiere and just make sure that my project's still there. I can show you where I'm at with it. It's going to be airing on IGN basically any day now. And let's see where we're at here. So this is what I do for fun, and like obviously it's my job and I enjoy it. But I've been laying out, don't make fun of my editing. If there's any editors watching, you're not allowed to make fun of my editing, okay? So I'm putting together a best settings recommendation, and you get like a massive FPS boost. You can't really see it. You get a massive FPS boost by having ray tracing off in Black Myth Wukong on the PC. And if you have it on very high, just like whatever settings, I was averaging around 57. But look at this. This is why I say like ray tracing is not worth it. Alex, don't make fun of my editing. I hate you. And then shadows, like these are ray tracing off, shadow cinematic, ray tracing off, shadows low. So like, I got to fix this. See, this is why I started streaming late, because my editing is just, it's nightmare fuel for editors. And then like we're looking at the hair quality on this guy. It doesn't really matter. Anyway. That's been the project that I've been working on for a while now, and it involves a lot of capture, restart, you know, stuff like that. Why did this switch to? Yeah, and then like just verifying some of the stuff that Digital Foundry said about ray tracing. It's still bugged. You can see low. I don't know what that's supposed to be. High is bugged, and then very high is it looks great. So yeah, I got to go through. I got to do a bunch of polish on this, but this will be coming out probably. Going to stay up all night and get that done. I'm just going to close Premiere. I was worried for a second there. And yeah, let's talk about this insane Black Myth Wukong rumor, how it started, where it's gone, and all the twists and turns that have happened since it came out. Long story short, it's been a little bit crazy to talk about because initially the rumor was that Xbox said that there was a conversation at Gamescom, and I'm just going to go use Google Translate because it goes to his Twitter, where they were saying that, or he was saying that he spoke to an insider. At Gamescom, I spoke to Xbox insiders and developers who informed me about a technical issue affecting the release of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox consoles. Now, this has been a very popular thing to claim, is the issue for not releasing it on another platform. Clearly, we all know the Xbox Series S is the blame, and the Xbox Series S has clearly been holding Xbox back and causing all these problems. The Xbox Series S is to blame for Final Fantasy 16 coming to PC, for example. The Xbox Series S is to blame for PlayStation raising the price in Japan. It's all the Xbox Series S fault. We all know it. And good to see you, Alex, in chat. Obviously, I'm joking, but a lot of people have been pointing to the Xbox hardware as being problematic in all seriousness. And this rumor came out. The game is reportedly suffering from a bug known as memory leak, which can cause significant crashes that could compromise the performance of your Xbox console. Due to this issue, the game has not passed Xbox bug detection tests and has therefore been indefinitely delayed until they manage to optimize the game for Xbox Series X and S. So long story short, that was the rumor going around, or the conspiracy theory that, oh, the Xbox console just can't handle Black Myth Wukong. And, you know, Digital Foundry did a video. I haven't watched it yet, but they're like, could the Xbox Series S run this? And they did their little piece on it because this is really juicy. Well, somebody thought this was so important to refute that they contacted Forbes and IGN to discuss the topic at hand. Black Myth Wukong Xbox delay due to Sony exclusivity deal, not tech issues, according to source. Neither Sony nor Game Science have publicized an exclusivity agreement around the popular action game. So the one thing I noticed in the Kyle Bossman video is he pointed out that every other PlayStation exclusive is marketed as such. This is only coming to PlayStation. But for some reason, this didn't get the exclusivity tag mark. So it's been really interesting to see the back and forth. But clearly, like, IGN's not just going to publish this source if it's not somebody reliable. I have no idea who the source is, just in case you're wondering. Black Myth Wukong's delay on Xbox is due to an exclusivity deal with Sony, a knowledgeable source has told IGN, corroborating reports on Forbes as well as what IGN has heard elsewhere. The source denied that Black Myth Wukong's delay is due to a memory leak issue, which was circulated by Spanish leaker Xtas, after what they said was a conversation with Xbox developers at Gamescom. Because of that, they claimed Black Myth Wukong had not been able to pass bug detection tests and was thus delayed indefinitely. Now, there has been a lot of back and forth about this since this report came out. Before it came out, like Genki Japan came out and said that basically somebody made a good point. PlayStation recently had a massive booth at China Joy 2024. Black Myth Wukong was nowhere to be seen at this booth. You'd think if it was a traditional console exclusive, it would be there. Something is not adding up, in my opinion. Now, other people have come forward and also discussed this topic, and that's why it's the headline for the show today, because it's just been a really, really strange back and forth. I have a lot of respect for Jeff and Nick. I would not have published without what I consider to be an extremely authoritative source. Frustrating to not be able to say more. The situation has been described to me as bizarre, which I can certainly agree with at this point. And this is from Next Gen Player, who said, there is no Sony money marketing deal keeping the Black Myth Wukong off Xbox, says Jeff Grubb. There was a misunderstanding around this stuff. I heard Sony only paid to help get the port done. No exclusivity, Special Nick adds. So you can read more over on Tweakdown. So What's really strange is there's all this back and I've never seen back and forth like this in the industry. Like you have reliable people. Jeff Grubb's gotten a lot of stuff right. Special Nick has gotten a lot of stuff right. You have IGN and Forbes who have insider reporting saying that's not it. And I'm really curious if we're ever going to find out what this was actually about. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, they've gone forward with reaching out to IGN to refute the claim. The source denied that Black Myth Wukong's delay is due to a memory leak issue, which was circulated by the Spanish speaker Xdos after what they said was a conversation with Xbox developers at Gamescom. Because of that, they claim Black Myth Wukong has not been able to pass bug detection tests and was thus delayed indefinitely. However, IGN understands that no tech issue that would delay Black Myth Wukong has been reported to Xbox. Rather, the Xbox delay is the result of an exclusivity deal neither Game Science nor Sony have publicized, the source said. The source described the rumors of tech issues on Xbox as inaccurate. So that's a fancy person. They're using a big word like inaccurate. So yeah, IGN has reached out to both Game Science and Sony for comment on these reports. They should reach out to Xbox too. I wonder if they've reached out to Xbox for comment. They should get a comment from Xbox because I don't think they have one in this story, do they? Anyway, interesting. Dwayne says, I truly believe that Sony had a hand on why Black Myth Wukong is not on Xbox. I'm not sure, Dwayne. I don't know what's going on here. It's very interesting. The new information follows a series of confusing reports, rumors, and contradictory statements stretching back to June. Observers first noted the delay when Xbox Series X and S vanished from the Black Myth Wukong trailer shown during Summer Game Fest. In its fact, Game Science said that it was still optimizing the Xbox version. So there's still a chance that we're going to get an Xbox version? That's interesting. Yeah, so I must have missed that. We are currently optimizing the Xbox Series X and S version to meet our quality standards, so it won't release simultaneously with the other platforms. We apologize for the delay and aim to minimize the wait for Xbox users. We will announce the release date as soon as it meets our quality standards, Game Science fact read. The whole thing is whoever reached out to IGN and Forbes to refute this has to be a very reliable source. If the only report out there was Xdos and the only people really talking about it were on Twitter, why in the world would you reach out to two of the biggest gaming publications in the world to draw more attention to the fact that your console and your brand doesn't have this game when the port's in the works? Ecstasis? Got it. But still, it's just a very, very strange situation to be in for Microsoft. Like, why in the world would you bring more attention to the fact that you don't have an exclusive? Huh? I always forget to do this at the beginning. And Xbox is already like doing this thing where they don't care. I gotta I always do this above the table because it doesn't look above board, so to speak, when I do it below. Who was the super chat from before? Dwayne. The $5. Thank you, Dwayne. Boom. I can't write today. Yeah, so it's really strange to me. The IGN source must be an Xbox source. I swear to you, I have no clue who the source is, but who wrote it? It's Kat, right? So Kat wrote the article, and I don't know if it's a mistake, but she said, we've reached out to Sony and Game Science for comment. You might want to also reach out to Xbox. Get a comment from Xbox. Just, it's weird that you would only reach out to the other two, but not the one the whole story is about. I imagine Kat did. I do have to wonder if that that was a mistake. Anyway, let's continue on. Black Myth Wukong is a technical monster. Where were we? So after the jump. Yeah. About the quote. Okay. Microsoft released its own statement on June 21st saying, We're excited for the launch of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox Series X and S and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders, but we remain focused on making Xbox the best platform for gamers, and great games are at the center of that. So the original Xbox quote sort of tipped its hat in indicating that this is a partner agreement that we can't comment on. Right? So it does make me wonder what was going on with that particular situation. And that's why I said conspiracy theory in the headline, right? Because what the hell is going on here? Did Sony make an exclusivity agreement? Is there some weird communication issue between Game Science and Sony where Game Science thought they had an exclusivity deal, but Game Science is making a comment about how they're still optimizing the technology to make sure that it runs on Xbox as good as possible? Like, there's an official statement on their website where they say they are working on the port. So yeah, here's the actual, this is the official website. This is I don't know. This is their pre-order fact. And then let's find the word Xbox. Yeah, we are currently, it's still on the website. So an Xbox version is in the works. We will announce a release date as soon as it meets our quality standards. So Game Science seems to be alluding to the fact that they need to do something on the technology side to get the game ported. There's this rumor that PlayStation paid for exclusivity, but it does just seem, and Xbox, their official quote has been that it is up to the developer when they get the game to the Xbox. Dark in chat says, if it was a PlayStation exclusive, it would have been all over the PlayStation marketing. It wouldn't have been on the PC. Since it's PC, it's most likely been money hatted to keep off Xbox. But it seems weird that they would comment about developing for Xbox. Now, no matter where you fall on this particular story, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because you have three different parties. You have Xbox saying it's not our hardware, it's a brand deal. You have PlayStation who's just being quiet, but apparently they back the game. And you have Game Science saying we're working on the Xbox version, it's just not up to our standards. And when you have all that on top of Xstasis here commenting and saying, well, we hear it's a development issue, maybe there's a little truth in all of them, because potentially what Xstasis is talking about is, well, the reason it's not on Xbox yet is because they're still optimizing the game and they need to do some work there. Now, here's what Hunter said. He quoted the Jeff Grubb stuff. There was a misunderstanding around this stuff. I heard Sony only paid to help get the port done, not exclusivity. So maybe Game Science thought it was an exclusive thing. And then previously on August 27th, Paul Tassi wrote about the hardware issue of the game. Oh, it's an Xbox optimization difficulty issue. Wow, I'm incredibly stunned to hear this. Shocked, astounded even, Del Walker said. Now, Del Walker has worked on a lot of games, including, guess what? Suicide Squad. He worked on Suicide Squad, and he talked about the difficulty of porting games to the Xbox platform. Seems like somebody who would have insider knowledge. Now, Genki Japan, another reliable person who I have commented on the stream before. Interesting report. I was under the impression that there was no exclusive deal due to what the developer said and the game not featuring any PlayStation State of Play showcases. I wonder what is happening here. That's the question that we all have. Like, how could the Xbox Series S do this? That is what we're all wondering. No, in all seriousness. He also was the one that pointed out that they just were at China Joy and Black Myth Wukong was not part of their booth or branding whatsoever, which seems odd. And there's the Hunter post again. And then we'll get to the next gen PlayStation hardware in just a second. So that is the rumor and conjecture and everything sort of happening with this. It's honestly, it's just a crazy story. It's just absolutely a crazy story. So what do you think about it, chat? Let me know. I would be really curious to hear your thoughts on this one, because we're hearing a different thing from every single person who talks about the game. Anyway, Concord. Do we want to keep talking about Concord on this channel? Because I've made my stance clear. if you haven't heard my Concord take, I think the characters look like garbage. I think the overall gameplay is okay, but it's unbalanced, and the story is dog shit. So if you were wondering what my thought on Concord was, that is the synopsis of my impression of Concord. And apparently a lot of people agree with me. Concord sold an estimated 25,000 units, says analyst. On Steam, it had 10,000. On PS5, it had 15,000. And they're, featuring one of their worst design characters on the concept art here. Daw, who I have talked about as being... Daw just looks stupid. Daw really bothers me. Daw is one of the best kits in the game. And the character design he has, Daw, is atrocious. It's just not a good character design. It's like a snow coat with ski goggles on. And I actually believe it or not, I actually went into the game and I read the lore about like the gunk area and how the ship has intelligence on it that somebody wants access to and you might not want to get. None of it's very interesting. The only thing that was sort of interesting was about the ship. But beyond that, Concord sucks, you guys. Concord just is not a fun game. Yeah, Clay, just whatever. People are going to say whatever they say. And I really don't know who that game is for. Movement just doesn't feel good. And everybody, like, the big thing in chat, every time that I talk about this game, the whole DEI conversation comes up. And, I think Asmongold has the best take on the whole DEI thing when it relates to games like Concord. It's like those initiatives, they're not necessarily going to make a good game bad, but if they're forced and they're done in a way that's not thoughtful, then it can make a bad game worse. And I think I'm summarizing what he said well. And honestly, in Concord's case, I don't think that's the game's problem. The game just sucks. The game is not a good game. And I very much disagree with what Travis Northup said in our review. Very good. Travis is a good friend of mine. I like Travis a lot, but I have never disagreed with him that much on a review before. I think that, I don't think the characters are likable or charming or memorable. Whatever he said in his review, like that part, I'm like, what are you talking about? The characters are profoundly not likable or enjoyable to watch interact with each other. The big problem I have is with the storytelling, honestly, because they had an opportunity to sell us on these characters. And the first 3 weeks of cutscenes, somebody on Twitter said, it's like jumping into a show that's on season 4 and you have no idea what the hell is going on. So obviously the game's not sold well. This is the biggest flop that Sony has ever seen. And like if I were reviewing it, man, it would have been like 5. It would have been much lower than a 7. I would have given that game a 7. I would have given it like a 5. There's just no world. I don't even know what I would have said positive about it. Even in the review footage that Travis posted, they show Vale sniping the vacuum cleaner and it shoots him like 4 times with crits and the vacuum cleaner doesn't die. It's just such a profoundly weird thing in terms of balancing. And yeah, anyway, Concord's a failure. How often do we want to like revisit and take a dunk on Concord? Because I feel like we've done it every week and it's just everybody on this channel. They're like, we really want you to take Concord down a peg or two. Guys, it sold 25,000 copies. Like it's dead. It's done. Like how bad is it? Well, it's holding 97 players right now. It hasn't even been out a week, has it? It came out on August 23rd. Yeah, so it's been out just over a week. And at its lowest, it got down to 54 players. Like, the game's done. It's over. There's no saving it. It's not coming back. And I actually posted about Fairgames because I saw Legendary Drops, I think, was talking about it. I pay attention to a lot of stuff online. Like I watch everybody's take. The thing is, I get inundated with a lot of people who are being negative about Concord. I have not seen, besides the IGN review, I have not seen anybody really come out and talk about the positives about the game. And it's not like I'm going out of my way looking for negativity. I follow 2,000 people on Twitter, for example, and I posted this tweet. It was after early access had been up for a while. I'm like, hey, I'm not seeing like anything about Star Wars as an example. And then, you know, Star Wars came over the weekend. There was some tweets about it that were more positive. And what I was hoping to see was something besides the look how bad the main character looks. Cause that's all I've been inundated with for like months. And I'm like, okay, like we get it. That particular character model looks terrible, but what about the gameplay? Is the gameplay any good? And then it went into full release. And I actually started seeing some people saying, hey, I'm really enjoying this. The intro is way too long and it takes too long to get into it, but it does sort of come together at the end. But that game is a 7. Like I think the Metacritic landed on 7. But going back to the whole Concord conversation for just a second, everyone seems concerned Fairgames will suffer the same fate. To me, it looks equally uninteresting based off the initial trailer. Concord does have some good gunplay, but slow movement, bland characters, and bad storytelling do it no favors. It's like vanilla ice cream with gravel as a topping. As you know, I'm a huge ice cream fan, but what are you doing? It's like you have something there with the gunplay. But if this is PlayStation's first foray into the looter shooter genre, they're screwed. Because we have Fairgames, which tonally also feels just way off base. I'm going to bring up the trailer real quick, and we can rewatch the Fairgames trailer. I think that game's done. Fairgames reveal trailer 1 year ago, and I remember watching this and just thinking to myself, what the hell was that? So we'll just do this one. It's not going to be perfectly cropped, but whatever. So this is Fairgames, the Jade Raymond game. For a little bit of context, like known developer, celebrated. It's CGI, but yeah. You do hacking? I thought it was. Know about us? I initially thought it was Assassin's Creed or something at first.
Seems like everyone does these days. It's simple. Too much money and too much power is held by just a few people. And it's only getting worse. So, we decided to do something about it. Let's go.
Here's the problem with Fairgames. They're just saying that anybody who has money deserves to be robbed. They're not doing the additional step of explaining why those people are evil. Like there's these great documentaries out there about Amazon and how Amazon drivers have to like urinate in cups. So this documentary guy went around collecting the urine and sold it back to Amazon for money. And that's hilarious. First of all, you have, if I could find it, I would link you to it. But yeah, he marketed it as a product and then it got it to the #1 spot on the Amazon store. And like, that was fantastic journalism and people bought it. Yeah. They never shipped it out. And he did the same thing with gravel. So he bought concrete and repaved the roads in the UK and then sent back like waste or something, just garbage. And he got a refund for the gravel. So it ended up, he'd like created an offshore account and he did all this stuff so that he repaired the roads and Amazon ended up paying for it. And what he's doing is he's using Amazon's own tactics. And I'm going on a little tangent here, I realize, and he's using them against Amazon. And it's a hilarious way to prove a point. He's making news headlines and everything like. The problem with something like this is everybody has a lot of money, so we're going to take it. You haven't sold me on your reasoning for wanting to rob those people. And I think that's where it falls apart. The assumption that we're good or something like that. I don't know. Like if you're a bank robber and you're going for that role of we're a bank robber, we're the bad guys, we don't care. Like Payday does that really well, right? You're the bad guy or you're the cops trying to stop them. Good guys versus bad, very simple. And whatever this game is supposed to be. I just realized I'm going to get copyright hit because of the stupid song. When I was in high school, these shoes here don't come out till June. This my pick, I'll crop you. Married to the game, said my I-do's got a window seat like Erykah Badu. Why are they robbing these people? And like they're robbing people, but they're also finding other people who are robbing. You want me to mute it? Everybody's like, we hate it. Sorry. I think the game looks bad. So that was released in 2023. Yeah, I mean, the trailer is a minute 40. If I'm going to get hit for copyright, I'm going to hit for it anyway. And I mean, take this with a grain of salt because we discovered recently that the downvote tool doesn't really do well. But oof, look at this like to dislike ratio on here. Take it with a grain of salt because, as you know, it's not completely accurate. But this looks bad. Another Concord with the same fate. You sure you want to go through with this after Concord, Sony? The irony of a live service game based on eating the rich is levels of irony even I can't comprehend, and I'm fueled by it. Yeah, like the whole goal of the game is to extract as much money from gamers as you possibly can. So yeah. Yeah, and to your point on that, Victor, it's just like, is that really how you want to bring up that conversation? I think it's just incredibly stupid to do it that way, and it's just not the right way to go about it. It's like if you're going to do that with fictional characters, it's just incredibly stupid. Anyway, sorry, I was just commenting to somebody in chat. So yeah, that's Fairgames. Who in chat is excited about Fairgames? I want your honest take. Say yes if you are excited about Fairgames, if that trailer did anything for you. I don't want to be leading, but I think that game looks like dog shit also. So we're 2 for 2 on the live service games, and I think that looks like, it just looks fucking terrible. Yeah, no. I don't see anybody in chat who is even remotely interested in it. Like, it's Jade Raymond, and Jade Raymond does have a history of making good games, but I think they should nuke this one. Sorry for the swearing today, guys. I'll try and keep it under control. But it's just really frustrating to see these incredibly talented people like you're making this. These are your characters that we're supposed to like rally behind and be interested in. Like, who are we supposed to identify here? The people breaking into a corporate building and just robbing it for reasons we don't really understand? I mean, the character does look cool. Fragpunk looks cool. Fragpunk I'm really excited about, and it's really fun. But like, I don't get it, you guys. I don't know what this game is. I don't really understand what that CGI trailer was supposed to tell us. You rob stuff. Okay. Like, story isn't the most important thing, but it is a important part of the overall picture. And if you don't sell me on why I'm doing a thing in a game, I don't know. Like, your gameplay better be stellar. That's all I got to say. That trailer did not do anything for me. It did absolutely nothing. And like, look, you want to talk about conspiracies? My conspiracy is Jim Ryan was politely asked to leave. I don't care what anybody tells me actually happened. There is no way you greenlit Concord and you greenlit Fairgames. You actually bought the studio that made Concord because you thought it was such a good bet. And it sold 25,000 copies. There is no way that happened. Oh, and then we can talk about the Marathon news, because we could also talk about how good Bungie's been doing over there with Marathon. Like, Jesus, it feels like lately, a lot of the stuff Sony has been messing with, it's all coming out that it's just dying. Let's look up SteamDB, the finals. Because I think it's on Steam, right? Like, we can actually see how the finals are doing. Yeah, check this out. This is the finals. A lot of people are like, how's the finals doing? It's 15,000 people in game today. It has 11,000 people playing right now. And like, it's not like up here and when it had 220, but maintaining at 15K, that's just Steam. That's just Steam. It's crazy. What's in like Halo Infinite? I mean, like, you could name any game, even Halo Infinite has 3,111 people in it right now, 3,877 for the peak today. Apex, I don't think is on Steam because or is it Steam now? Apex Legends, let's see. Yeah, so like, you want to look at a gangbuster, here's Apex Legends. It has 64K in there right now. There's a tournament going on right now or something, so I think the numbers are slightly inflated. And it has 219,000 peak. And of course, the big hit Banana Game with 514,000 players right now. This is like a money pyramid or something. I don't know what it is. Oh, Black Myth. Look at that. It's still kicking weeks later. Deadlock. This is a game that you can only get into with like an invitation from a friend. As far as I know, it has 121,000 people playing it right now. So if you want some metrics, and we're not just talking about Concord, like Fairgames has to come into a market with all of the games that we just went through. And what is it going to offer that will get me to stop playing even Halo Infinite or any of the other games that we've mentioned? We have, Deadlock. We have all of these other games. Why in the world am I going to go play some forgettable nonsense of a game that has done nothing to sell me on its gameplay or story? And those are just the two we know about. When Naughty Dog looks at the market and they're like, yeah, we're out, we're good. Get out now. I think Sony should eat the cost of whatever is going on with Fairgames and get the F out of there now, or just reboot it internally. Hey, Concord was a flop. Scratch it, make something different. They can still use a lot of those assets. I think whoever that main character was looked kind of cool. Like, you could utilize that as one of the characters. Their best game for having microtransaction or whatever they're called, live service, their best live service game is Gran Turismo 7. And that was established at the launch of the PlayStation 5. Why are you doing all this nonsense? I think I played Hyenas, Filaroni. I got to do an interview about Hyenas. So I saw gameplay and it was shut down. And I mean, I did the interview, but if I'm being honest, I thought it looked bad. Yeah, that was another one. I'm just like, what is happening right now? But that was also the time when that Portal knockoff came out. All right, that's all we got for today. No, I'm just kidding. There was another story that we should probably talk about. There was this console that some people are saying might come out. It's called the PlayStation 5 Pro. Maybe you've heard of it. And the rumor is it looks like this. This is the mock-up. I don't know the source of this, but as you can see, it looks vastly different from the original model. So different. It has some slashes on the side, which is basically the same thing. Oh, Kay the Barbarian said, stop talking about Concord. I wasn't talking about Concord. I was talking about the other game that's coming from PlayStation called Fairgames that looks just as bad as Concord. The big rumor, though, is all about the PlayStation 5 Pro. We've been talking about this online, or everybody's been talking about it. I haven't had a lot to say because I think that the PlayStation 5 Pro is stupid. I don't mean to be so negative today, by the way. It's just like the news of this past week has been very not super fun for me to read. Like Concord failed. There's a PlayStation 5 Pro rumor. The rumored prices are like out of whack. And a sketch illustration of the console based on the final design is provided. Does not know if there is an edition with a disc drive. Same DualSense controller. Expects announcement in the first half of September. That's like this week. And also TGS is coming right around the corner. So we know that they're going to have a big presence there with Hideo Kojima. We've already seen that posted. PlayStation presents Death Stranding 2 special stage confirmed for Tokyo Game Show. That's September 29th. But the rumor is that the reveal will be the first half of September. Obviously, TGS would be a good time to talk about it. A lot of people in chat are like, how much do we think the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to cost? Well, let me see if I can find... I'm a little unorganized today because I was working on that edit that I was telling you all about at the beginning of this show. Here are the rumored prices, and we'll do a poll about this. This is from Kareem Yovian. PS5 Pro / Adidas, $700, $600 for digital. So it'll be $699, $599. This is a mock-up and fake. This is what happens when your competition is dead. I think people don't buy this. But let's do a poll, everybody. How much will the PS5 Pro? Yeah, $699 and $599. 6.99. Wait. $699. $599. $499. Higher. All right, those are going to be our 4 options for the poll today. I think, and oh man, I think it's going to be $699. I kind of screwed up that poll, but whatever. Just vote for the one you think will be the most expensive. I think it's going to be more than $699. I think it's going to be $799. You want to know why? Not because I'm crazy, but because of the other story that I didn't get to just yet. I think that it's going to be more because PlayStation 5 is getting a sharp price increase in Japan from September 2nd. It's going up in cost from 66,980 yen to 79,980 yen. Now, with Japan, you kind of drop the last 2 numbers. And then you get about, like when I was in Japan, that's what I do. I'm like, okay, just take off the last 2 numbers and you're kind of close to what it is in the US. So 79,980 yen to USD. 79. Okay, that don't do what I used to do. The dollars are all out of whack since I've been there. 79,980 yen is $546. The value of the yen certainly has changed in a while, but it's like a $90 price increase for that platform. So I think that while our poll is saying $599, $699, I think they could go like $749.99. And of course I'll buy it, or work will buy it. But yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of, I don't think that besides for work, will buy another console. There's just no reason to do it. And well, that's not true. I'd buy the Switch. PlayStation needs to like explain why we would need to buy their console. Everything's coming to PC anyway. I already don't have time to play the games that I have. I'm on chapter 2 of Black Myth. I want to finish that. And like Space Marines coming out in a week or two. And, you know, the new Call of Duty's coming out. There's just all of this stuff happening this year. Indiana Jones at the end of the year. And that's not even console exclusive. And eventually I think Sony just gets rid of exclusivity because they want more people to buy their games. And that's why they're releasing faster on PC anyway. Sorry, I got to go through all my tabs. Catch up. Yeah, the rumor is $6.99 and $5.99. I mean, that's what I guess the Xbox would do. But I think because it's PlayStation and they don't really have a competitor in the console market, which is why we want Xbox in the console market, by the way, I think they could go $749.99 US dollars. And whatever the equivalent is everywhere else. I think they can push it that extra 50. It's nuts. Genki Japan, I assume Genki lives in Japan. I don't see how normal people in Japan can afford one. I have the suspicion the sudden price hike may be due to the massive success of Black Myth Wukong in China. PS5s are selling out, and Japan is a main source for scalped PS5s in China. I don't know about that. It is mainly, I haven't heard that, but I mean, I assume he knows better than I do. Isn't it more to do with the value of the yen? That's why Xbox increased theirs. Yes, of course, that too, but they already raised the price twice before, and this time it's a much steeper increase. Del Walker says, the last time I was in Yodobashi in Tokyo, it was hordes of Chinese tourists buying all the expensive items. This definitely feels like they are trying to make money off the new China console hype. I don't know about that. That seems a little speculative. Daniel Ahmad did chime in on all this, though. After its launch in 2020, the cost of a PS5 disc has increased by a total of 60%, and the digital has increased by a total of 82.5% in Japan. Sony cites a challenging external environment, indicating fluctuations in the global economy for the reason behind the 3 price increases. Japan is on the extreme end, but other markets have seen 1 or 2 price increases too, which is unique for console hardware. The weakened yen against the dollar is certainly one reason. In 2020, the PS5 launched for what was the equivalent of $480. Today, that would be equal to $345. Hence, price increases to what is essentially $550. Another factor is likely to crack down on exports of Japanese consoles to other markets, especially China. Sony is looking to normalize prices globally to avoid selling a high quantity of units under production costs in a single market. This will, of course, impact gamers in Japan. In the short term, there will be a huge surge in purchases to avoid the price hike effective September 2nd. In the medium to long term, HD console gaming is becoming more unaffordable, and the PlayStation 5 Pro will no doubt cost more. It's also worth noting that this will likely impact the successor to the Nintendo Switch's price in Japan too, and it's unlikely Nintendo will be able to price it as low as the original Switch was at launch. So that's going to mean fewer console sales. I've talked a lot about on the channel how the console market isn't growing, and stuff like this is going to hamper its opportunity to grow again. So when the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 launched, they had COVID as an excuse. And now they have, oh, well, the Japanese yen is lower and all this stuff. I never get behind any corporation making some excuse to raise their prices. It's insane to me anytime I see people going to bat for the corporation, charging consumers more money. I am a consumer purist. I believe in the best thing for customers at the end of the day, and anything that makes that less, I am not a fan of. So if you ever wonder where I'm coming at it from, I come at it from the perspective of Destin was a poor kid, And I think about that poor kid trying to save up to get a video game or a console or whatever. And if I got some of the shit that's put out today, I swear again, sorry everybody, I would not be a happy guy. So that's what I come at it from. And I'm surprised to see people going to bat for stuff like price increases. And like when the games went from 60 to 70, no, I don't support that. I don't like it. I've never said that is Turbo. And it seems that this is causing a bit of a surge for the Xbox console, which is nice. PS5 price increases in Japan send Xbox consoles soaring up sales charts. Sony's recent announcement of PlayStation 5 price increase in Japan seems to have sent some Japanese gamers rushing to Microsoft instead. Xbox Series X sales have soared recently, while others have rushed out to grab a PS5 before prices go up in Japan next week. On September 2nd, the disc edition of the PlayStation 5 will increase, as we know. On Yodobashi, one of Japan's biggest electronic retailers, the Xbox Series S console shot up to number 8 in the games and console sales chart on the morning of August 29th. On the previous day, it wasn't even in the top 100. Whoa. Okay. So like, I was thinking that this was a modest jump. This is, you're not even on the radar to number 8 on the charts. That's actually quite significant. Sales of all PS5 consoles have been halted across major retailers in Japan, including Sony Store, Amazon Japan, Yodobashi, and Joshin, as pre-price rise stock has completely sold out since Sony's announcement about the hike on Tuesday. At the time of writing, Yodobashi is also out of Xbox Series X stock as well, likely due to its unexpected rise. So they're selling so many PlayStation 5s that they're out of stock, and people are either like, well, I'm not going to buy it, or they're basically saying that they're just going to go ahead and they're going to get the other console. Social media has been swamped with reactions to the PlayStation 5 price since it was announced, with PS5 price increase becoming a popular hashtag on X in Japan. People have been reporting successful buying PS5 consoles, while others were disappointed to find that they were already out of stock. Many Japanese users mentioned the upcoming Monster Hunter Wilds, that game looks so good, by the way, as their reason for wanting to get a PS5. Reactions include, I plan to get a PS5 in September with the new Monster Hunter, but then the price went up. I went to the store, but they had already sold out, and this price increase is really going to hurt my friend who is saving up for a PS5 for Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds is also coming to the Xbox Series X and PC, however, which may have prompted some consumers to change their console buying plans. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, PlayStation raised their price and they're sold out? Well, I'll just get the other one. That makes sense to me. Anyway, that's what's going on. I don't really know what is going to be planned for the PlayStation 5 Pro or what's going to make it compelling enough to make that purchase. Let's start a new poll. Let's start a new poll. Can we close how we close the poll? End poll. We're going to start a new one. I want to know, will you buy a PS5 Pro? I'm just curious how many people in my chat will buy it. I think the percentage is very low. Like, I already have a PlayStation 5. You know what? I would buy one later. I would buy it maybe when the Xbox, when Grand Theft Auto 6 came out. At that point, I would consider buying a PlayStation 5 Pro. But before that, no, I don't think so. And I would be really curious if you're going to buy one. Remember, they're estimating that the price is going to be $699. Anonymous Boss says PS5 will hit 70 million sold since all of China is buying every PS5, right? You might actually be right. So I still have this document where I went through and I looked, it's not going to format right, but I'll do my best here. So the PlayStation 4, so by the end of 2017, the PlayStation 4 was at 75.7 sold. Currently right now we're at 61.6, and they are trending above their sales for the PlayStation 5 already. If they announce the Pro and the PlayStation 5 base units will get lumped into this total sales number. I have to imagine in Q2, they could be already in the 70s for consoles sold. These numbers are put out with every marketing call that they do. And by the end of 2021, they were at 113.7. I believe that the Switch is about to outsell the PS2. PS2 capped. I can't remember what the PS2 ended up selling. Meanwhile, the Xbox, I have them estimated at 29.9 for 2024 so far. And who knows where they end up. But those PlayStation sales, they're going to have a positive impact on Xbox also. So kind of curious where everything winds up. There were a few other stories, like I am very excited about Final Fantasy 16 coming to Xbox. Granted, I've already said how there's too much to play right now. Genki Japan pointed out that there is apparently Final Fantasy 16 is on PlayStation Plus Extra. Is that a thing? PS5 Pro bundle with GTA 6 will sell units. It absolutely will. I would buy that one. That's the one I would buy. Absolutely. This is just good news. I just want to talk about it. I think it's a great game. You should play it. And Square Enix has announced that more games are coming to Xbox. Now, I didn't collect all the fan reactions to this because apparently some people were just, what's it called, malding on Twitter. Alex, I don't know if he's still watching, but he made a video about it. So you can go check out, oh no, it's Alex roasting all the fanboys complaining about exclusives finally going to Xbox or whatever. But yeah, he says that Xbox has an extremely low amount of users in Japan, but Square Enix will continue bringing its games to the platform. In July 2023, Square Enix CEO Takashi Kiryu said more games will come to Xbox whenever possible. That was on stage with Phil Spencer. I clipped that out over on IGN. And then a lot of people have been talking about this. Clobril said with Final Fantasy 14 as the starting point, we do want to release more games on Xbox. There will be more of our titles released on Xbox. I hope players look forward to future things to come from on the platform. Absolutely. I think it's about time. I think we've all known that it's coming. And Jez Corden, we got a little clip out from Jez Corden here. Jez, I don't know if you watch these clips, but I actually don't have a link to your story. But I have this page from your story. What compounds the likelihood of these highly requested Xbox ports happening is that our managing editor, Jez Corden, interviewed the developers of Final Fantasy 16, and they stated they would like to see that game come to Xbox in the future. Also, during Jez Corden's most recent podcast live stream, he hinted that games like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 16 could be gearing up for an Xbox debut because Xbox executives are going to appear at the 2024 Tokyo Game Show. TGS could be hype, you guys. Xbox is going to be there. There's going to be a new PlayStation console. Is Xbox going to show up with their console at TGS? Here's what I think is going to happen. PlayStation has bad press right now in Japan. They're raising the price of their console. We've just read a story about how Japan isn't into it. What if Xbox shows up and they're like, sure, you can get the rip-off Pro, or you can buy this handheld for $299. I think that Xbox would do very well if they were able to launch their handheld this year before the end of the year. It is a reach. Yeah, the only problem with my theory would be, like, they don't have a big foothold in Japan, but if they were the first to the mobile market while we wait for Nintendo to finally get off their butts, it would be really good optics. Jez Corden, in his report, said that Xbox executives are going to appear at the 2024 Tokyo Game Show. So I'm not pulling that out of my buttocks. It's from a news report. Why in the world would Xbox executives be at TGS? Why are they going there? China's a huge new market. Both console manufacturers just started selling in China, what, this year? Or this console generation? Like what, 2 years ago? I remember talking about the story. It wasn't that long ago. So if they have a $299, the handheld would probably be have different tiers. So you could have like $299, $399, $499. But they would like really focus in on the cheap one, right? And I have it right here. That would be kind of a good play on their part, because of course, like the hardcore like us, we would be paying attention. When is TGS? That's a good question. It is 9/26 and 9/27. Very interesting stuff. And I'm just thinking about this off the cuff. What if Xbox has something planned for TGS? Apparently, executives are going to be attending. There's also rumors that Nintendo could have a little bit something called the PlayStation 5 Pro coming out imminently or at TGS. What if Xbox wants to undercut them and they reveal that they are entering the handheld market ahead of Nintendo and during the PlayStation 5 Pro announcement at a much cheaper price point? The PlayStation 5 Pro is rumored to be $699 or $599 for the digital. What if Xbox has a handheld up their sleeve and it is $299? I do think at the very least they would get people talking. And that could be quite interesting. Yoshi P says that Square Enix wants to release more games on Xbox and that so far it has been really tough because of the extremely low amount of Xbox users in Japan. They want to strengthen the community on Xbox towards Final Fantasy franchise. Phil Spencer spent a lot of time and effort to get Final Fantasy 14, so they would like to deepen the relationship with Xbox gamers in return. It is difficult for Japanese titles to be released on Xbox due to the fact that there is an extremely low number of Xbox users in Japan. Japanese developers naturally have a desire for many people in their home country to play their games. Because of that, releasing on Xbox is a really tough point in terms of business standpoint. But Square Enix are now changing to a multi-platform policy and want as many players as possible to play their games. So with Final Fantasy 14 as the starting point, we do want to release more Square Enix games on Xbox, and there will be more of our titles released on Xbox. So I hope players will look forward to future things to come to the platform. Well, Yoshida, it was really nice for you, the big setup about how awful the Xbox platform is. Before getting, but we're going to put games there anyway. There's not a lot of players there. And, you know, we need to like remind them that Final Fantasy is, we care about Xbox and Xbox bad. But hey, more games are coming. Thanks. There is no way that's how the interview went. Like he was just negging Xbox for 5 paragraphs. And then he's like, yeah, but we're going to put the games over there anyway because we like money. There's no way, right? Oh, it's like the whole interview. Let's just look for the word Xbox. Phil Roney says, to be fair, Square's had a rough time this gen. Many gamers from Forspoken, Foam Stars, Babylon's Fall, and low FF game sales have forced change. Yeah, absolutely. They're also saying that they're going to be more aggressive with AI. It's kind of crazy to see how Square Enix has struggled and how Capcom has been thriving. Like Capcom got the... Thanks, Phil. I'll put you on the board. Capcom got the message and they're just like, oh, let's just make great games that people want repeatedly. Like, let's remake all the Resident Evils and just make them better somehow. And yeah. Thank you, Phil, for the super chat. Handheld is not going to be announced at $299. We'll see. So they talked about Xbox a lot. Like if you look at this interview and you search for the word Xbox, it's like players have been waiting a long time for the Xbox release. We want to strengthen the community on Xbox. Phil Spencer spent a lot of time getting on Xbox, wanted to develop, further deepen the relationship with Xbox gamers. Yeah, I just want to take this as a general argument, but when it comes to the Xbox platform and the fact that it's difficult for Japanese titles to be released on the platform, that's tied into the fact that the Japanese market there has been extremely low, has an extremely low number of users on Xbox. We do want to release more Square Enix games on Xbox. Man, when you read the actual interview versus what Genki Japan wrote, Genki makes it sound so anti-Xbox, and he's just like, yeah, you know, we don't have a ton of Xboxes in Japan, but we still want to bring games to Xbox, of course, because internationally we want to remind people that it's coming. Sorry, I just found that sort of what would it be, anecdotally humorous. Meeson says that'd be crazy. Japan loves handhelds. I think I sound crazy, but I don't think it's that crazy of an idea. Japan, you know, they're known for having a commute culture where, like, you know, you got to shove people into the subway trains and everything. And a lot of those people, they like want to do their handheld gaming on the go. It's their subway system is like really, really good. So a lot of people utilize that instead of transportation, and announcing a handheld ahead of Nintendo at a time when PlayStation kind of has not great PR could be kind of a win for Xbox. Anyway, just sort of a thought about that. I did want to talk about Delta Force really quick. As you know, I'm not sponsored or anything. I just really like this game. The PC alpha is closing on the 8th, and they're doing alpha test access, so you can access the game again. I really love this game, you guys. I think Delta Force is going to be big. It is one of the most fun games I've played. I played Arena Breakout, didn't really dig it. I played Delta Force. I am all about it. I even got into the extraction mode. You can go see how it changed my life on the channel if you want, and it's good. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 had a good trailer recently. Oh yeah, we got to talk about the Bungie stuff. Oh, check this out. This is from Greg Miller. I could not believe this when I read it. Lol, great news. If the Star Wars Outlaws patch broke your save and you lost all your progress, they're giving you a trinket for your ship. A trinket for when you replay all that stuff. And some Ubisoft Connect units. We are following up with the previous email we sent you regarding issues with an outdated version on PlayStation 5. We fully acknowledge that asking you to start a new game is not the best experience, especially during the early access period that you had to pay $100-something for. And for that, we apologize. To make your return to the Outer Rim a little more special, we are granting you an in-game Trailblazer trinket as well as 100 Ubisoft Connect units to redeem for in-game rewards, for example. They're giving you fake money to spend on microtransactions. Just refund their early access fee. You've effed up early access. How does Ubisoft continually get shit wrong like this? Like, what the hell is happening over there lately? Anyway, people are playing it now and they like it, but what a stupid make good. I think that this could be a class action. Anybody who was part of the early access thing, I don't think Ubisoft's going to get off the hook. Ubisoft is already tied up in litigation. I think this is completely unacceptable. I think it's an absolutely garbage response to what their problem is. You're racing. If you touch my save files, no, never touch my save files. You figure out a way to fix it. That's not on me. Aries with the 10 gifted members. Thank you so much, Aries. Appreciate the heck out of you. And then people wonder, why is Destin so mad all the time about modern gaming and the shit that, like, what the hell? How do they get away with this? I don't think it's acceptable. It's not. How much was early access? How much was it? $110. No, give me my money back. Out of all the things that I have, especially as you get older, the one thing that you cherish more than anything is your time. And if you just told me, hey, we got to delete your time that you invested into our game, into experiencing our world, I'm like, you got to be, I want a refund. Just take your game and shove it, you know where. I don't want to play it again. Like, let's say you were 30 hours into the game. It's insane. They deserve to be roasted for that. And anybody who's criticizing the character models, absolutely in their right. I think a lot of those characters, I don't know what the fuck happened when they put it into the engine, but they don't look right. So granted, like, that was the main thing on my feed and I wanted to hear more about the game, but it is a valid criticism. A lot of those character models look bad. I did the first minutes on IGN and I'm like, even some of the like characters in the seats and stuff that are in the CG cutscenes don't look good. And they're like main faction syndicate characters. What the hell happened when you put them in the engine? And then you have these absolutely gorgeous CGI cutscenes on the other side of the spectrum. I'm really getting fatigued by being told I'm crazy when I look at a character model that looks like shit and I can't say anything about it. No, the character model looks bad, you guys. Period. I talked about it on a few streams ago. Like, anyway. How do I say this? You can look at something and see that it looks bad. And you can say it looks bad. I think that's okay to do. I think most of the characters in Concord are forgettable. They don't look good. They're uninteresting. They're designed poorly. Like, I could rip on those character designs all day long. And like, one of these YouTubers went out who's a game designer and he's like, look, here is how I would change the character designs to make them more interesting. Like, they're just bad character designs. And when you have a character that you've put into the game and then you just hand wave away any criticisms about that character model looking bad, it's just like, no, why does the character model look bad? Why can't we talk about that? That's insane to me. What went wrong? Something went wrong, right? Anyway, sorry. I've been really thinking about making a video because something's going on right now with the conversations that we're having online, and a lot of BS is happening, and it's really, really frustrating because you can have a conversation about the problematic nature of how things are being implemented in the games, and that doesn't mean you're a bad person. And it's just like, when you try and have earnest conversations, we're not allowed to have those conversations. We should be having those conversations because otherwise everybody just gets labeled like this blanket term. And it really, really, really bothers me. Are there bad people online? Yeah, of course there are. There's complete assholes who like send death threats and are just absolutely out of their freaking mind, right? They're crazy. But we should be able to ask the question, why does the main character look bad in Star Wars Outlaws? Like, why does her in-game character model look so freaking terrible? She looks, even in their own engine, in the cutscene, she looks great. In engine, she looks like garbage. What happened? Anyway. Claire Obscure looks wonderful. X Defiant is on borrowed time, so yeah, that one's seeing decline. Oh, goodness. We got to talk about this one. Am I crazy, chat? Like, am I crazy? Because like I've said in my videos, I talked about it in the Black Myth Wukong video. I find it problematic when people say something like Black Myth Wukong is successful because it's not woke. And I'm like, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I don't think Black Myth Wukong not being, whatever the fuck that even means. It's about a monkey king, like, who's magic and shit. And it's a classic story in Chinese literature. And it's just a boss rush, no more crazier than normal. And it's a boss rush type game. The craziest criticisms I've seen for Black Myth Wukong are like, oh, it's a boss rush. And I'm like, how is that a negative? Like, okay, you don't like boss rush games. Okay. Does it look pretty? Yeah, it looks pretty. And a more valid criticism, I would say, for Black Myth is that it's not well optimized. There are some optimized. That's the video I was working on. It's not well optimized. And then inversely, there are issues with the boundaries and like there's a lot of invisible walls. And I would say those are reasonable criticisms of the game, but the bosses are freaking cool. The bosses you fight, they're all cool. And I'm playing in Mandarin. It's just called Chinese in the menu, but I assume it's Mandarin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the two languages in China are Mandarin and Cantonese. And to me, I've been to China before. I believe it's Mandarin. I don't really know the difference, but it's Mandarin, right? Does anybody know, actually? Like, for sure in chat? Let's assume it's Mandarin. And I like that. It feels like you're immersed in the world that they're trying to convey while reading the subtitles. Luke, I think the problem is, just to address Luke over on Twitch really quick, the problem is that definition isn't true for everybody. It is different for every single person. And when you bring terminology like some of the words that you've used, I think it becomes problematic. Anonymous Boss, yes, I have seen that they are getting a remake. And yes, I am very hyped. It is Mandarin, somebody said. So yeah, I don't know. I like to put the language in Mandarin and read the subtitles. And I feel like I actually pay attention to the story better doing it that way. I'm on chapter 2. I am getting my butt kicked by the 10 million guys shooting at arrows at me. So I went off to the right and I fought the little rat guy and the big guy, and I killed the big guy, and then the little guy ran away. I don't know if that was a bad call or whatever. And I know that's the area where you fight the tiger who drinks blood. So I am very excited about all that. And I am very excited about Legacy of Kain also. But to Luke's point, yes, all in the name of the greater good in quotes. And that's the problem. I think, man, I don't want to say anything like incorrectly because it is a bit of a delicate topic. And when you say something like the greater good, I think you're getting at the heart of the problem with it. It's attempting to do good, but going about it in such a bad way that doesn't really do service to any part of the conversation. So it does a disservice to the people they're trying to do good for, and it does a disservice to the gamer who's trying to play the game, right? So, and I think that's the problem with it. And that is sort of a blanket statement that can be applied to a lot of things. They're trying to do something good, but the way they're going about it is the wrong way to go about it. Sorry to ramble here, chat. Anyway, there was an interesting thing that happened over at Bungie, wasn't there? One second. Here we go. So we're going to reference Jason Schreier, and he did send me his book. I haven't talked about this a lot. I wanted to wait. I don't want to like brag. Oh, he sent me a book. Look at me. I'm all fancy. But I am on chapter 14, page 148. It's an advanced copy and it's phenomenal. So there's my review in progress. It's really good. There are some chapters where I feel like the one I can say my thoughts for later, but it's a very good book. If you like Jason's work, I do think this is a very good book, and I do think you really like it, especially if you have any interest in Blizzard, how it came to be, all the drama that happened at Blizzard, etc. Simon says it didn't help character design. DEI didn't help character designs. Yeah. See, Simon, I don't know if that's the case, though, and that's the tricky part. I don't know if that's what happened. Anyway, thanks, Simon. Because I have a video on my channel where, like, I hate the trend of when people were complaining about Horizon and they're like, oh, look, they made Alloy ugly and stuff like that. I'm like, guys, like, it's just Alloy. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And you see that bait a lot online. And that's the inverse of the problem. A lot of times people are just throwing shit out there to see what sticks. Like, look what they did to Lara Croft, and Lara Croft just looks like Lara Croft. Like, I see stuff like that all the time. I don't want to read some of the terminology that you see, Marvel, so you're welcome to go fuck yourself. Never tell me how to talk. Sorry. I don't know why that got under my skin so much, but no. There's some terminology that I didn't want to read, and I'm not going to read it. I do appreciate Simon, though. Woo! Sorry, I didn't. I don't get that heated. I'm a little embarrassed that I did. But yeah, Jason's book is really good. In South Korea, StarCraft. Anyway, I'm going to do a full review of this. I'm about halfway through it. I've been really busy with work, and yeah. In March, top Bungie employee and former Marathon director Chris Barrett suddenly left the company. Barrett was fired after an HR investigation found that he had behaved inappropriately with at least 8 female employees, Bloomberg has learned. Yikes. Christopher Barrett was like one of the leads on the Marathon project, and that's just not a good look. Marathon is the game. Let's see if I still have that asset, actually. Oh, I don't think I have the round table. I just have the announced trailer, and I think it's the one where they're running around. I don't have the round table from it. But yeah. So I have the Marathon announced trailer, but I do not have the round table. If you didn't know, they did a round table where the people working on the game were like in a round table, and they actually talked about it. And Christopher Barrett is one of those people. I'm going to see if I can find it like online or if they're like pulling it down. But this story came out and they delisted the asset. Let's see if we can find it. Bungie, maybe Bungie. Somebody has it. Somebody has that asset, right? If anybody can find it, I don't know if you can link YouTube trailers in chat, but yeah, that'd be great. Man, nobody has it. Anyway, Jason Schreier continues in his story. I feel bad for being spicy before. What did Simon? I missed what Simon said. You send me another one, Simon? Well, I do appreciate you saying keep up the good work. Thank you. Everybody's like happy that I'm being spicy. I felt like that was a little much from me. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So he inappropriately with at least 8 female employees. I'm looking for the Vidoc from last year. I probably have it on my computer somewhere, but yeah. Speaking to Bloomberg, multiple women who reported Barrett said that he would text them frequently, make suggestive comments, and ask to play Truth or Dare. The women said his advances were unwanted and that they felt uncomfortable because he was significantly more powerful at Bungie. In a statement to Bloomberg News, Barrett said he never understood my communications to be unwanted, and I would have never thought they could possibly have made anyone feel uncomfortable. Yikes. All right. C. Marvel said, I wasn't offended. Sorry guys. I don't know. I feel weird about coming in that hot, but I'm glad you like the spicy. I'm watching too much of that Alex channel. That, oh no, it's Alex. Why are you texting people off hours? He's married. Like the further complication to the whole story is Christopher Barrett is married. Art is always a reflection of society. Politics is wrapped up into that. Keep politics out of games is just a call for censorship. Wildly un-American. See, that's from TDM Format. I don't think people are asking to keep politics out of games. I don't think that's quite what they're asking about. Here's my argument. Here's my basic argument about all of this, the DEI and all the conversations. I think they're doing such a shitty job about implementing modern conversations into games that they're actually causing harm. They're causing harm about the discourse we're able to have as people. And it's just harmful to the type of conversations that we want to have about game design and where we're going as a society and as gamers, right? The fact that I want to play a game and I want to be a muscular, ripped, jacked dude who tears shit the fuck apart. You get the curse stream today, chat. You're getting the curse stream. I like God of War because I rip motherfuckers in half and just blood everywhere and it feels so good. It's a fantasy, right? And that's part of the reason why I love God of War. It is that fantasy of just being incredibly strong. It's really fun. The combat is so freaking on point. I just absolutely love the combat in God of War, even God of War Ragnarok. And I think it's weird that like just some of the conversations that are happening these days where it's like, well, I'm trying to think of a good example where the idea of that being a bad thing is brought up, right? What's wrong with guys wanting to be strong? Nothing. And I feel like the takeaway from a lot of people online is they feel like it's weird to be criticized for having basic human instincts. Right? And I kind of get that. I don't want to see my body in a game. I want to look like Kratos. I want to strive to be jacked like Kratos. And I haven't really talked about this on the stream too much, but like I've been going to the gym and trying to better my body and things like that and be healthier because I got 2 kids I need to chase for at least 10 more years, 15 more years. And part of that is I want to look better. There was an old philosopher, God, I don't know if it was Plato or was Plato the fake one? Anyway, Socrates. And there was a saying about the physique. And it was something along the lines of, and I'm just paraphrasing here. I read it somewhere online or in one of the health videos about getting in shape. Everyone should know what it's like to be in their peak physical condition or something of that respect, right? And I do really appreciate that idea. No shirt off. No shirt off, not happening. Uh-oh. Somebody sent me the thing. It's from a year ago. Petition for Destin to be an unlockable character in the next God of War. I don't know about that. I don't have a 6-pack yet. I am proud of my progress. I missed the gym yesterday, but I have gone. I really wanted to wait until 90 days have passed to even really talk about it, but I do enjoy it a lot. I enjoy it a lot. Like, I'm starting to get a little bit of muscle there. Yeah, see, I don't want to show you till the 90 days are up because it's not a lot to look at right now. But it's there, trust me. It's there. I got to do, what do they call it, a pump? But anyway, yeah. See, now I'm embarrassed. Anyway, that's just sort of my thought on it. It's just like a lot of us play games to escape. And the super chat, which I forgot to write down on the board. The super chat brought up the idea of who is that from? What did he say? I want to read it again. It was from Ted. We'll just say Ted. Thank you, Ted. Art is a reflection of society. Politics is wrapped into that. Keep politics out of games. Just a call for censorship, wildly un-American. And I agree that, like, you have a right to make whatever you want, and you have freedom of speech to create whatever you create. And I, as a consumer, have a right to not purchase that game and criticize it and say I don't like it. And the problem is a lot of that criticism is being labeled something it isn't, as a way to deflect criticism. There's something, yeah, and I look at what's happening and I'm like, what in the world is happening right now? Are there assholes on the internet? Yes, absolutely there are, right? But also, I don't think it's weird for people to be attractive to attractive people or aspire to be in better shape or more attractive, right? Rambling Entertainment said, God of War, Gears of War, Halo, and Wukong makes me want to hit the gym. Concord and Dustborn makes me want to eat my depression. Simon says, interesting PS5 poll. I've been with Xbox since 2011. I just sold my Series X. It's pointless to own one without exclusive. I will buy a PlayStation 5 Pro. Diversity is fun when done right. And I do agree with the diversity comment from Kyle. There was this game not that long ago where you're just exploring a haunted house or something like that. And you sort of discover like this journal in the book. And if you dove into it, you actually found out that I believe it was a woman's journey into discovering that she was gay, right? But the way it was presented was in a really interesting manner. And I thought that it impacted me. And like, I'm a straight guy and I played that game and I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. Gone Home. Yes. Gone Home. Gone Home was really great. Do you guys remember that game? It had a really great story about figuring out who you are as a person. And I thought it was really interesting and a really thoughtful way to present that topic, right? Now, when you take a character and like, what's a good example here? The Freeze character in Suicide Squad, and you make that character look stereotypical and put like, you don't honor the legacy of the Mrs. Freeze character. Victor Freeze's wife, I can't remember her name, Nora, I want to say it was Nora Freeze, was the whole inspiration for him to become Mr. Freeze because he is trying to protect his wife. And that's what makes him such a good character. And instead of doing a character where Nora Freeze is the hero, we got whatever the fuck they made in Suicide Squad. The archetypal story of protecting your loved ones is something anybody can get behind. Right? But the writing in that game was really a problem. It just wasn't good. And it really bummed me out. Versus something like Gone Home that really hit home and told a great story. Archetypical. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it can be damaging. And you see all this hatred and vitriol online right now and this anger from people who are like, what are you doing to these characters that we love? And it's because you're not handling it with the nuance that it deserves. And you're causing problems for people that you're trying to help. And that makes me depressed. Like, that really, really bums me out to just see. Because I understand that they're trying to be nice, I guess, but they're doing it in such a shit way. It's bad. It's bad for them. It's bad for the people playing, and it's bad for the people that they're trying to be nice to, right? Like, honestly, you know who did it really well? Overwatch. Overwatch was really, really good at being inclusive. They have people from all sorts of different backgrounds. Each one of their backgrounds are really touching. I actually really love the little animated vignettes. Some people hated them, but you know what? In Overwatch 1, you still had great gameplay to hop in and play. So there's all that to consider too, right? Like, if you're going to have, if your character is going to be overweight, I want it to be like video game overweight. You know why? Because Roadhog's fucking cool. He's a fat guy, but he just owned it. He's got like the mask on and he looks awesome. He's like likable because of he's cool, right? And he had the chain whip. He was like sort of a meme. But like when a character is just fat for no reason and like doesn't really own it, I was like, okay, like I guess. I don't know. Roadhog's cool. K-Vess. So I played about an hour of Star Wars for work. K-Vess is fine as a character. Honestly. It's just the character model looks bad. And the inverse of the thing to get critical of people on the other side of the equation is that people just take shit and they like hammer it into the freaking ground. And it's a little too much. Right. So I would be very curious to know whatever the hell happened with the K-Vess model in engine, because it looks worse than some of the other characters in the engine. Like, you know who they didn't mess up? Emilia Clarke. So it's like, yeah. And I commented on that a few weeks ago on the stream. Anyway, sorry, I'm sort of off on like really tangenty and everything like that. But yeah, Chris Farley, yeah, one of my favorite comedians ever. His whole thing was like, well, I'm a big guy and I'm going to own it. And he had like a substance abuse problem and stuff like that, which is, it's very tragic what happened to Chris Farley. I don't know. I'm dipping my toe into a very difficult topic that deserves more nuance and thought on my part. And I shouldn't be doing that off the cuff like this, but I kind of wanted to give you some indication of, you know, the whole woke conversation or whatever you want to call it, why I don't think it's just a blanket statement you can throw at everything. And I do think it's being utilized to just express an overall malaise, to use a big word, for ideas that just aren't resonating with people. Right? So there's that. Anyway. What else do we got here? Ooh, this was a good one. Metal Gear Solid 4 release on modern consoles. We definitely are aware of this situation with Metal Gear Solid 4. Unfortunately, we can't really say too much at the moment with Volume 1 containing Metal Gear Solid 1 to 3, ... You can probably connect the dots. They're basically indicating that yes, we are going to get a modern version of Metal Gear Solid 4, and that has me very excited. Oh, that was my last story for the day. That was my last story for the day. I don't want to end off on all this stuff, but I did that Black Myth Wukong video. I talked about how it's currently my Game of the Year contender. And I wanted to talk just a bit about it and how much I'm enjoying it. I hope more people play it, just because I do think it is a good game. I think it's a better game than it's getting a shake for. Howdy, Destin, just finished school junk and coming to you for a needed breather. Ah, well, thanks, Balding Baby. I appreciate you stopping by. Hope school is going okay. I wish, I don't know what to say now. He's like, I just got out of school. I need a breather. I don't know what to do. I'm glad you're all done with school. Oh, my wife's texting me. Oh, the boys are at the park. Oh, she found the popcorn I put in her bag. I really don't see the hype for Wukong. It's just fun, man. It's just like a good fighting game. I played it last week on stream. Anyway, I am thinking about talking about that particular topic on a scripted video, but I feel like I have to be careful with how I say some of this stuff. So I apologize in advance for any way I might have said something a little weird or incorrectly on today's stream that hurt anybody except for Marvel, because that guy had it covered. No, I'm just kidding. Wukong is definitely my game of the year. It is the first game since Ghost of Tsushima that had me so hyped and completely delivered. At Destin Retro. I think it's really good. I think if there was none of the controversy surrounding it or anything like that, I think it would have been just as good. Like, I think that actually brought more attention to it. It's one of those things where it's like all PR is good PR, right? I made a video on my channel. I don't think the alloy thing was a thing, and it was bothering me back then. So like, yeah, I think there's a lot of nuance to the conversation beyond just what I see online a lot. Flintlock is not a bad game either. Yeah, I hear Flintlock is not a bad game. You know what game I did play that I do think is terrible? Dustborn. I think Dustborn is incredibly bad. I played it for, I could play like 10 minutes and I had to shut it off. I'm just like, this is terrible. And it's like the introduction of the game. I really did not like Dustborn. And like, I'd seen some clips online and I'm like, this must be out of context or something like that. And then I started playing it and I was like, wow. Like, it's very pretty. It's a pretty game, but I don't know what they were trying to say. I don't know what commentary they were trying to get, but I'm playing it and I'm like, I do not like these characters. They are not nice to each other. Anyway, I should go. I appreciate y'all. I got to go make dinner for the kids and I should probably go eat something for myself. I appreciate the heck out of all of you. And thanks for watching. Did I miss anything? I feel like there's like some major story I missed. I've just been heads down with all this work that I got to get going on. And I do appreciate that kind of all of you. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell to know when my content goes live. I do appreciate all of you watching. I really, really do. Thank you so much to the members. Got to update the list again because Aries donated another 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Aries. If you would like to become a member, you can click that join button right down there. And if you want to see my rant about Black Myth Wukong and why I do think, seriously, it could change the games industry, check it out here-ish, I think. I'll see you for the next video. Bye for now, everybody. Have a great time.